Good morning to all. I am Sonakshi Majumdar. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I am going to teach you class 6th SST Political Science chapter 8 Rural Livelihood. So please take out your book and be ready. In this chapter we will learn about the lives of rural people. Rural means village people. Okay, how they earn their livelihoods. So let's start. Kalpattu village. Kalpattu is a village situated at the sea coast in Tamil Nadu. People here do several kinds of work. As in other villages, a number of non farm work such as making baskets, utensils, pots, bricks, bullock carts, etc., are done here. There are people who provide different services such as blacksmiths, nurses, teachers, washermen, weavers, barbers, cycle repair mechanics, and so on. There are also some shopkeepers and traders. The main street looks like a bazaar. A variety of small shops such as tea shops, grocery shops, barber shops, a cloth shop, a tailor, and two fertilizer and seed shops can be seen in this main street. There are four tea shops which sell tiffins such as idli, dosai, and upma in the morning, and snacks like vadai, bonda, and Mysore pak in the evening. A blacksmith family lives in a corner near the tea shops. The home of the blacksmith also is the place of his work. Next to their home is a cycle hire and repair shop. There are two families and both earn a living by washing clothes. There are some people who go to the nearby town to work as construction workers and lorry drivers. The village is surrounded by low hills. The main crop that is grown in the village is paddy. It is grown in irrigated lands. Most of the families in the village earn a living through agriculture. There are also some coconut groves around. Other crops that are also grown include cotton, sugarcane, and plantain. There are mango orchards too. Let us now meet some people who work in the fields in Kalpattu and notice what we can learn about farming from them. First is Tulsi. Tulsi is saying that all of us here work on the land of Ramalingam. He owns 20 acres of paddy field in Kalpattu. Even before I was married, I used to work on paddy fields in my parental village. I work from 8:30 in the morning till 4:30 in the evening. Ramalingam's wife supervises Karuthamma, our work. This is one of the few times in the year that I get regular work. This is the time to transplant the paddy, and now I am doing the same. When the plants have grown a bit, Ramalingam will call us again for weeding. We will be again hired by him at the time of harvesting of the crop. When I was young, I never felt any difficulty doing this work, but now as I grow older, I find bending for long hours with my feet in water very painful. We are paid rupees 40 per day by Ramalingam. This is a little less than what laborers get in my home village. But I come here because I can depend on him to call me whenever there is work. Unlike others, he never looks for cheaper labor from other villages. My husband, Raman, is also a laborer. We don't have any land of our own. During this time of the year, he sprays pesticides. When he finds no work on the farm, he finds work outside, either loading sand from the river or stone from the quarry nearby. There, this is transported by truck to be used in nearby towns to make houses. Apart from working on the land, I do all the works at home. I cook food for the family, clean the house, and wash clothes. I also collect firewood from the nearby forest. I also fetch water from a village borewell situated at a distance of about 1 kilometer. My husband helps in getting materials such as groceries for the house. Our school going daughters are the joy of our lives. Last year, one of them fell ill and we took her to the hospital in town. We had to sell our cow to pay back the money we borrowed from Ramalingam for her treatment. As you saw in Tulsi's story, a lot of time is spent every day by poor families in rural areas collecting firewood, getting water, and grazing their cattle. Even though nothing is earned by them by doing these activities, they have to do them for the household. It is the need of family to spend time doing this as they are not able to survive on the money they earn. In our country, nearly two-fifths of all rural families are agricultural laborers. There are some who own small plots of land while others like Tulsi are landless. Not being able to earn throughout the year forces people in several rural areas to travel long distances in search of work. This travel or migration takes place during particular seasons. Now next is Shekhar. Now we will come to know about his story. This paddy is to be carried to our house by us. My family has just finished harvesting our field. We don't have much land, only 2 acres. We anyhow manage to do all the work on our own. At times, particularly during the harvest, I take the help of other small farmers and in turn help them harvest their field. Seeds and fertilizers are provided by the trader who gave these things as a loan. To pay back this loan, I have to sell my paddy to him at a price which are comparatively lower than what I would get in the market. He has sent his agent to remind farmers who have taken loans that they will sell the paddy only to him. I will probably able to produce 60 bags of paddy from my feed. Some of this will be sold to settle the loan, the rest will be used in my home, but whatever I have will not last more than 8 months. So I need to earn some money. I work in Ramalingam's rice mill. Here I help him in collecting paddy from other farmers in the neighboring villages. We also have a hybrid cow. The milk we get from the cow is sold by us to be local milk cooperative. This way we get a little extra money for our everyday needs. As you have read above, very often farmers like Shekhar are forced to borrow money to purchase their basic things such as seeds, fertilizers and pesticides. Often this money are borrowed from money lenders. If the seeds are of inferior quality or pests attack their crop, there can be a major crop failure. In case of failure of monsoon also, the crops can also be ruined. In such situations, farmers sometimes are unable to pay back their loans, and to survive, they again borrow more money. Soon the loan becomes so large that no matter what they earn, they become unable to repay the loan amount. This is the situation when they are trapped in debt. In recent years, this has become a major cause of distress among the farmers. Ramalingam and Karuthamma. In addition to land, the family of Ramalingam owns a rice mill and a shop that sells seeds, pesticides, etc. To establish rice mill, they spent some of their own money and also borrowed from the government bank. They buy paddy from within the village and also from surrounding villages. The rice that is produced in this mill is sold to traders in nearby towns. Thus, they earn a substantial income from the rice mill. Agricultural laborers and farmers in India. In Kalpattu village, there are agricultural laborers like Tulsi and several small farmers like Shekhar and a few big farmers like Ramalingam. In India, nearly 2 out of every 5 rural families are agricultural laborer families. For their livelihood, All of them depend on the work they do on other people's fields. Several of them are landless and others may own very small plots of land. In the case of small farmers like Shekhar, their land is barely enough to fulfill their needs. In India, 80% of farmers belong to this group and only 20% of India's farmers are like Ramalingam. Most of the land in the villages are cultivated by these large farmers. A large part of their produce is sold in the market. Several of them have begun other businesses such as shops, money lending, trading, small factories, etc. We have studied about farming in Kalpattu. Apart from farming, several people in rural areas depend upon collection from the forest, animal husbandry, dairy produce, fishing, etc. For example, in some villages in central India, both farming and collection from the forest are important sources of livelihood. Collecting mahua, tendu leaves, honey to be sold to traders is a significant source of additional income. In the same manner, for some families, selling milk to the village cooperative society or taking milk to the nearby town may be the main source of livelihood. In the coastal areas, there are fishing villages. Now, we shall find out more about the lives of a fishing family by reading about Aruna and Parivalan who live in Pudupat, a village situated near Kalpattu. Aruna and Parivalan. The village name is Pudupet. Is not very far from Kalpattu. Fishing is the main source of income of the people of this village. Their houses are close to the sea and so rows of catamarans and nets lying all around can be seen here. At about 7 o'clock in the morning, there is a lot of activity on the beach. This is the time when the catamarans come back with their catch and women gather to buy and sell fish. My husband Parivalan, my brother and my brother-in-law came back late today. I was very worried. They go to the sea together in our catamaran. They said they were trapped in a storm. Some fishes have been kept for the family and the rest will be auctioned. The money that I will get from the auction will be divided into our four shares, one each for each person who went fishing, and the fourth one is kept for the equipment. Since the catamaran, engine, and nets are owned by us, that share too will be kept by us. We have taken a loan from a bank and purchased an engine which is fixed on to the catamaran. Now, with the help of this machine, they can go far into the sea and can get a better catch. The women who buy fish here will carry them in baskets to be sold in nearby villages. Then there are traders who purchase these fishes for the shops in the town. I will only finish this auction by noon. In the evening, it is the duty of my husband and our relatives to untangle and repair our nets. Early tomorrow morning, around 2 a.m., they will set out to sea again. Every year, for at least about 4 months during the monsoon season, they cannot go to the sea because this is period when the fish breed. During these periods, our survival depends on the money borrowed from the trader. Because of this, later on we are forced to sell the fish to that trader and cannot do our auction. Those 4 months of monsoon are the most difficult period for us. Last year we suffered a lot because of the tsunami. Rural livelihoods. People in rural areas earn their livelihoods through various ways. Some work off farms while others work their livelihood on non farm activities. Working on farms includes operations such as preparing the land, sowing, weeding, and harvesting of crops. We are totally dependent on nature for the growth of these crops. Hence, life revolves around certain seasons. During the period of sowing and harvesting, people are busy, but at other times they have nothing to do. Rural people in various regions of the country grow various crops. However, we do find similarities in their life situations and in the problems that they face. The survival or earning of the people depend upon the land that they cultivate. Several depend on these lands for work as laborers. Most farmers grow crops both for their own needs and also to sell in the market. Some have to sell to traders from whom they have borrowed money. For their survival, several families need to borrow money for their work and also at the time when there is no work. There are some families in rural areas which thrive on large acres of lands, business, and other activities. However, most small farmers, agricultural laborers, fishing families, craft persons in the villages do not find enough work to keep them employed throughout the year. So, students, this chapter is completed. Your homework is to do the book reading. I will send you the PDF. You have to complete your notes. Next chapter I will explain in my next video. Till then, bye, take care, thank you.